What's up, y'all? Glad to see everybody back. I will be getting, I will be getting a new camera. I brought some notes on this one. Now, remember I was telling y'all before, and I normally don't like to do it, but I'm old school, so I'm a note taker. So instead of having all this stuff I get to jot down, like during downtime at work, they might think, oh, well, he's just typing up KBs and all that. I type up ideas. Some people ask, well, how did you get yourself in this position? How did you? Because a lot of times when I used to talk to people, white people used to ask me this too, but a lot of black folks used to be like, well, how did you do this? How did you write your own tech book? Like, they used to say it almost as if it's like it's not almost impossible, but like it can't be done, or like it's just amazing or something. The thing is, just like Neighborhood Nip said, I was never the smartest dude. I just didn't quit. I just set my mind to do something, and I just kept, and I didn't really have a lot of a choice, because it wasn't like I had a trust fund or like a clear direction on where to go. When my pops left, I felt like I was able to be more independent in terms of my creativeness and where I want to go. But you still need to have a male figure around. So that's where 1997 comes in. I'm gonna title this 1997. And I appreciate y'all bearing with me, because I had this thing about being on camera, right? So I'm getting more comfortable with that and whatnot. So damn, I done lost my train of thought, shaking my coffee a little bit. So this is gonna be like not like a mini series, but y'all gonna see before I got into this real IT, who I was and what I was doing before the IT. I mean, I was always real technical and whatnot, but what was it like before that? You see what I'm saying? Like who I was kind of coming into myself and getting comfortable with myself as a teenager going into 16, 17. So I'm gonna bring up something that shaped me. Now, I talk about this a lot. I ate some sauce or something. Probably should have flossed. Always something good and then you feel like it's stuck in your teeth. I hate that. So this is kind of what shaped me as a kid. This right here. This neighborhood. The West Bank, Cedar Riverside. And remember I told y'all before, Cedar Riverside was mainly freedmen, foundationals. It was Eritreans. It was some Ethiopians. This was before poor whites, a few, very few, and some mixed kids here and there. But it was mainly black folks in this area. Specifically, the Cedar Riverside projects. Right? This is Riverside Plaza. Now, I had talks with somebody. I was talking to a native dude about like 4-5 months ago or so. He said this was supposed to be the Caprini Green. They were supposed to duplicate what they had in Caprini Green on Riverside, and it was supposed to go. And actually, you know what? I'm glad it didn't. I'm just gonna say it. Crime would have been through the damn roof. Because you would have had folks that would never want to lead them damn projects. And with the influx of immigrants from all these different places, I just gotta keep it real. It would have been off the chain. I know that because I lived there. So, just so you gotta get a little background, you got the Hard Times Cafe right here. You got Cedar Riverside right here. I'm pointing to it as if y'all can see my finger. But we're surrounded by the U of M. But our parents didn't push us enough, so we didn't end up at the U of M. And the U of M was super expensive, right? So, here's a Carlson School of Management. You see that down here. So that's Riverside down here. And then my grandma had a house over here. I won't go to the specific block, but I'll just tell you that that area is a historic block. The block behind our house was a historic block. So we would play a lot of times at Matthews Park, and then sometimes we would go all the way down here, but mainly where it was at. If you were in this neighborhood, 9 times out of 10, or if you grew up in Cedar Riverside, but 9 times out of 10, if you stayed in this little area right here, you were at that park. That's where you played your basketball at. That's where you got your little squabble, your scuffles, but you mainly got your little squabbles and your scuffles up here. That's where you was gonna get them. So right here, and we gonna get into the tech part because it's important, but we gotta cover this. How did I really get here? Okay, Hard Times Cafe. Okay, here, where's Washington Avenue? So this Washington here. Hold on. Wait a minute. That's Riverside 19. This is where the 10th Avenue Bridge fell. That's where I grew up, right here. And there was a softball field here. So I'm just gonna give y'all let me see if I could zoom it in. All right. That was the bridge. This bridge didn't fall. It was another bridge. It was a bridge right behind it. But we grew up seeing these condos, the Riverview Towers. People in here had a couple of dollars. So we had to walk to the bus all the way over here, up here. All right. So this is where I grew up at. So I stayed here, but remember, if you're gonna go to the projects, you got to go all the way up here. You got to go all the way up here. And you can see them. Hold on. You can't really see them right from here. But sometimes I walk through these buildings when I get ready to go to the store. It just brings back a lot of memories. All right. So you're going to see them in a minute. You can't see them here. But this is where we used to go to the bus stop right here. This used to be Grandma's right here. There was a place called Grandma. This was a hotel. I used to take the cab from there sometimes. But Grandma's used to be right here. Back in the 90s, that's where Grandma's used to be. All right, so now, you on Washington right here. Still can't see the projects. So you got to walk over here. We take the bus right there. If you're going downtown, heading to the north side, you take the bus right there. All right, so now we're going to get into the heart of Cedar Riverside. We're going to get to the story. So you can see the projects right there. Now, I'm telling y'all, if they would have let this be Caprini Green, it would have been off the chain. Mixed Blood Theater, legendary. So you see where I used to sometimes ride my bike, or most times we would walk. And you could walk on this bridge this way and then come back around over here and get to the projects, or you could just walk down Washington or walk down Cedar. Back here, the Brian Coyle Center, we would play ball and stuff. That's before the heavy Somali population. You could see these buildings was built to stand. If you were a rapper in Minneapolis or did any type of music, you probably did something up in here. Okay. We used to go to this bank. It used to all be small black businesses or mainly immigrants. It will mainly be Eritrean and Ethiopian, and then the Somalis start coming sooner or later. But that's all we see. But they all be black businesses. This place right here, I was going to talk about it later. But there was a place called Kilimanjaro Cafe. It was some Eritreans that owned it. And they always treated us well. They didn't treat us funny when we went up in there. They were straight. So just to kind of give you an idea right here, that was where I spent majority of my childhood, learning tech, all this kind of stuff. I used to associate with everybody that lived there. So I had to walk all the way up here, whatever the case may be. Point making. I'm going to tell you where the tech really truly started at. One of these days I'm going to walk down there and I'm going to show y'all. Midwest Mountaineering is no more. That's a sad place. This is another legendary spot in Minneapolis, in this neighborhood. It'd be real nice if some brothers and sisters bought the building and did something with it. But it was heartbreaking when they closed because they had everything. Right here on Cedar. This is where it all started. Hold on, let me get back out of here. I've never been in there. Hold on. Damn it. Hold on. How do you get back? All right, hold on. Okay, Hard Times Cafe. So we got to go. I got to get back. All right, so I'm trying to think where I could go. That's too far up. Mixed Blood Theater. I'm trying to get back to not Palmer's. That's too far up. We'll just go right here. Yeah, we'll go up a little more. All right, Cedar Riverside. All right, so let me go up. Go all the way up here. Okay. Let me open the window. It's getting too damn hot.
Yeah.
All right. So just giving y'all, damn it, it did it again. Hold on, let me see if I can go back here. There we go. Okay. Right here, there was a Kinko's. So let's get into the story. So y'all got the logistical background right now. Let me get into the story. Okay, so check this out. My dad wanted to run a business. He was ambitious. He passed all the ambition to me. I was one of I was probably the youngest, or not the youngest, the middle. And all the ambition, a lot of the ambition passed to me. I used to see him try to do deals. He would do a lot of blue collar work. And he would try to, like he was one of the highest selling Kirby vacuum sellers for his time. So when Kirby vacuum was around, those were one of the best vacuums in the world. And I'm gonna try to edit this out and show y'all the Kirby vacuum. So I'm gonna let me write that down real quick because that's one of the little notes. So when I do this, this live is gonna look good when I edit it. So that's one thing I want to write down. I'll show y'all. But he had a business that he wanted to run, but he didn't know how to use a computer. So I don't know what year this was, but I might have been in maybe 5th, 6th grade. I don't know what it was, but around this time, they had the Macintosh LC2. Y'all look this up. The Macintosh LC2 was about this small. That computer probably was around like a rack or more. Not everybody. Remember, y'all, this was before Napster and the internet really like that. Like, we gonna get into that too. That's gonna be the next story time. I'm really about to go get into that. That's why I said, man, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell y'all how it happened. If it's some grimy stuff, or it's some street stuff, or if it's something that we witnessed, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell the story because that's my life. I'm just gonna say how it is. He wanted to build a business, but he didn't know how to really use a computer. They took me up to that Kinko's. It's FedEx now, but I call it Kinko's. They took me up to that Kinko's right here. We walked up there, or he drove, or I can't remember because we used to stay down there. And they were getting ready to have me go through a training course. So the white dude, he sits me down. Well, I want my son to learn this or whatever like that so he could do whatever he wanted to do on the business side. And I don't know how he got this computer, but I think he came home with the computer. I don't know where it came from or whatever the case may be. I might have got, I don't know how we went ahead and got that, but he wanted me to learn how to use a computer. Okay, so around this time, it had a mouse. This was kind of beyond the 5 1/4. It had the 312 floppy disk. So he says, I want him to learn him how to use this computer. So they sat me down, and it was like a book or a training. It was a training course that he signed me up for. And I sat down and I grabbed the mouse and I'm going around and I'm looking at because when you double click on the Macintosh HD and you can find out how to go to show info and all that. I already knew how to use it because we had Macintoshes around that time in school. So the white guy's like, hey, he can't take this training. I swear I wasn't there no more than 3-4 minutes. He said, he can't take this training. He already knows the operating system. This was before 97, however. I'm just giving y'all a backdrop. I don't know. I want to try to find out. I want to find out when, because Chipotle's wasn't there. This right here used to be, it was some immigrants that owned it. It was like some Polish people, or it was some lady that owned it. And then there was like a Italian dude that owned, it was like right here or right there, but Chipotle's was not there. These buildings wasn't there. It was some other buildings, and there was a pizza place right here too. There was like $1 pizza place at one point, but this was a grocery store. We used to go up with our little food stamps and stuff like that, and then we used to grab snacks. You get 2 Snickers for $1, and you get 2. They ain't have what they call Fanta. They call it Minute Maid. We had 2 Snickers for 59 cents, or 2 for $1, 1 for 59 cents, and 2 for $1 Minute Maid orange. Minute Maid orange. They call it Minute Maid. We was eating that garbage almost damn near every day. Our parents didn't know better. Fructose corn syrup, what is that? We didn't know none of that. We just drink it and it was good. Tastes way better than now, but now they call it Fanta. I don't know. They call it Fanta now. But back then they called it Minute Maid. And it wasn't that long ago, y'all. It really wasn't. I mean, it kind of is, but it don't feel like long ago, because I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember like it was yesterday. I'm about to send this. I'm about to send some of these stories to John G, because he'll remember. So around this time, I had already knew a little bit of technology. I call this 1997 because I'll kind of eventually get into that. So there was this place. Eventually, and I'm gonna go way down here. When Windows 3, I don't know how, somehow I think I must have went and dug in the garbage at Computer Renaissance. I rode my bike over to a place called Dinkytown. I'm gonna do a story on that too. But there was this place, and they had the best damn sandwich in the world. It was called Vecchio's in Dinkytown. I used to go to Dinkytown. I'm gonna pull that up in a minute too. This is gonna go a little longer. This story time gonna go a little longer because y'all. So I walked down here. This was one of the first supercomputers at the U of M. They called it the Minnesota Supercomputer Center. Ain't none of these buildings was there around that time. None of them. Matter of fact, I don't even think Bobby's and Steve's was around during that time. The time I'm talking. Now behind these buildings right here, I'm not gonna go behind them but these weren't up. But maybe another block, there was this place called a Computer Surplus. Old grumpy ass white dude. Old grumpy as hell. He see me come in there. He know I ain't gonna buy none. Every now and then I used to get some, but I was real young, and this was around the time. I don't know what year this was, but let me see when Windows 3.11 came out, because I had like 10 discs. They call it Windows 3.92. That couldn't have been 92. That had to have been a couple years after 92, because it came out in 90. Yeah, Windows 3.11 came out in 93, so that might have been 94, 95, maybe 96. Because remember, our parents ain't buying us these computers. They ain't had no money like that. So I used to go to places like Dinkytown and dig out the garbage, or if somebody was throwing like a computer away. Sometimes they would just throw computers away. It wasn't as robust with data now, where people could just take stuff and throw it on the internet. It wasn't no internet back then. I mean, it was, but you had to go to school or the library. And it was like 28.8 megabytes per kilobytes per second, or just bytes per second. Like you wasn't going to the library to look on the internet for information. You wasn't going to try to send no emails. It wasn't like that. We're talking about 93, 94, 95. Menace to Society time and Hell on Earth, Mob Deep time. We just started kind of going in, messing with the internet maybe around 9th grade or something. 97, 98, when Life After Death, See Murder came out and stuff. You're not going to the internet in 92, 93. You're not going to the library for that. Everything was based on books. Encyclopedia Britannica. You had to be outside. Everything was outside. If you was 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, whatever the case may be, somebody's running off at the mouth, y'all squabble up. And you had to show up because you had to go to school, and you're going to get clowned if you don't. You couldn't. Now you just get on the internet and just do whatever. No, you had to be present with everything. Going to buy a CD, you had to be present. There was no running away. There was no hiding from anything. You could not hide from anything in life. You could not use a mirage of the internet to hide from anything in life. Everything was clear and present, and you had to deal with it head on. From job to work to emotions to family, all of that. You see what I'm saying? So let's go over here to Dinkytown real quick. Now, let's go to Dinkytown. Now that's on University. So you see, that's on the West Bank. We stayed, or the East Bank. We stayed on the West Bank. This is considered to be the West Bank. So you got to cross the bridge, ride your bike across the bridge. That's a picture of Dinkytown. So I'm gonna try to go Dinkytown Library. I used to ride my bike because my mom used to always bring us. And look, I actually used to do, they call it the Arvon Fraser Library. Well, I don't know what the hell that is. I really don't. Sure wish it would just let me get to the spot. Okay, there we go. All right, this library right here, I actually did a video shoot, and I was talking about that JPay. I was sending my homies some JPay. I put like a little, I did a little video when I used to do music. This library is a cornerstone of me getting to where I am right now. I used to go over here to this library, and I used to rent books. I used to get books and stuff like that. Back then, I don't think that was before the DVDs, so we didn't really rent. I think you could rent tapes, but we didn't really get tapes from the library. We used to go to Blockbuster and stuff like that. So Computer Renaissance was down the street down here. So just to kind of give you an idea, there was 2 ways to get to this library. Now, let me back out and go a little further. All right, so here's the library. That's the library right there. And I'm going to go to the library, and I'm going to go to Cedar Riverside. All right. Now you see, that's where you had to, you couldn't get on 35, so you'd have to take the 10th Avenue Bridge. Now the 10th Avenue Bridge, when you get off at the 10th Avenue Bridge, there was a Hardee's right there. So sometimes I might want to ride my bike, get a burger. I used to do that all the time. But this is Cedar Riverside, that's the project. But remember, I live, okay, where's the West Bank softball field? So let me try to go here. West Bank softball field. All right. So I kind of, like I said, I live kind of down over here. So you could take the 10th Avenue Bridge and ride your bike. Was it the 10th Avenue Bridge? Yep. You could ride your bike over the 10th Avenue Bridge, or we could walk up to the U of M, and there was a bridge over the Washington Avenue Bridge that allowed you to, there was an enclosure. So what I would do when I ride my bike, I'd go to that Computer Renaissance. I'm gonna show y'all, it was right here. All right, now look. None of this stuff was around here. Computer Renaissance was right here. Bam. US. Okay, Jimmy John's. That's been there a little while. Computer Renaissance was like somewhere around here. Man, I got some stories. I can't tell all some of them stories. Some of them stories I think I'm gonna leave off the internet. But Computer Renaissance was like right here. I think Vecchio's was here, or yeah, Vecchio's was right around here. But Computer Renaissance was one of these. So my point is, I would ride my bike over the 10th Avenue Bridge, go into the back, and look through the garbage. Sometimes they give me stuff, but I would, just go in and look at the computers. Sometimes they throw the computers in the garbage. They weren't concerned about data so much because, like I say, it wasn't a place and a time where people were doing fraud with data like that and all that. You weren't going to be able to do that because there's no internet to connect to. No, people didn't have the internet. Only the rich and schools and stuff like that had the internet. So what I would do is I would get a backpack or rig up my because these some big computers, bro. These 486s and stuff like that, these are some big computers. And I'd rig up my bike some kind of way where I would have it to my back, or I would do something, have an oversized backpack, and I'd tape it up with duct tape, and I would bring the computer home. And a monitor was a little easier to find. But, I was able to get a monitor, and I would start opening up these computers and taking a look at them. And I'd go over here off Washington Avenue. Down there, I told y'all, over there, right off Cedar and Washington, towards downtown. And I would go and get these Windows 311 discs, and I load them all up. And you'd have to load disc 1, disc 2, disc 3, disc 4. That's how a lot of the MPC 3000s, all the, the legendary Pete Rocks and the DJ Premiers and all that, they all had MPCs and they had these ASRs and all these, and they would have to load it up through cassettes. You see what I'm saying? So that was kind of my time teaching myself how to use that stuff, and eventually going into when I was going to South High. I'm going to do another story time on that. That's going to be the next one. So remember, around these times, first, second, third grade, I've already kind of somewhat mastered a lot of the Apple Macintoshes. At first we had, remember, the 5 1/4, the actual floppy disk. Literally this big. Like you could smack somebody with that joint. Then they went to 3.14, which was a little smaller, held more memory. They had the laser disc, big ass laser disc. See, now I'm sounding like I'm old or something like that. I'm not that old. I'm not. This wasn't that long ago. This is how technology was quick. It did not last. It went from, this is the whole time during Nintendo came out. Yeah, I was barely a baby. But Nintendo, and then Super Nintendo came out in 92. Genesis, all of that. I'm gonna do a Turtles in Time story time in a minute. I'm gonna do one of those in a minute. So y'all gonna get 5 or 6 story times today, and I'm gonna edit all these joints up, and y'all gonna have it. Y'all gonna be like, damn, this is how Minneapolis was or whatever. And this is, so all of that stuff was going on, man. All of that stuff was going on. So now going back to the Brian Coyle Center, just to kind of show you where it's at. I used to be at like a youth summer program. There was now Brian Coyle Center is right behind the projects. Now the Smileys done took it over right now. They done took it over. This wasn't there before. They built those up. This wasn't there before. You pan around, you see the Mixed Blood Theater. I worked there as a kid. Maybe like 97, maybe 98, a summer program. I worked there for a little bit. But my first job was right here at the Brian Coyle Center. You got your ball skills together. You got your squabble up and your scuffles together. So, if you stayed in this neighborhood, you got an issue with somebody, you taking it to the buildings, y'all getting your squabbles and your scuffles together, and you're getting your squabbles and your scuffles and your basketball skills together there. And then during the summertime, we would, it was like a little summer program. They gave us maybe $6 or $5 an hour or something like that. It was decent money for a summer program. You could go buy all your gear. A lot of times we would go downtown and get our gear. The dope boys, they didn't deal with that. What was that place? It was right off of Hennepin. It was a little knockoff. But if you was a D-boy, you went into the other building in downtown. Y'all know what building that was. The D-boys used to go into. There was a building across the street from Foot Locker. So you got Candyland right here. You got I don't remember what that store. It was right on Hennepin, but like the stuff was, some of it was kind of knockoff. They had some clean stuff, but it was kind of knockoff. But if you had that dope boy money, you wasn't shopping there. You was shopping kitty corner from that place where Fogo de Chao is, kind of like that. I know because some of my homies was D-boys, and that's what they would do. He wouldn't go on Hennepin. He'd go in there and get them fits. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to go down there with him. So I'm just saying, like, that was. And that's where you see all the, the who's who. The niggas with them 97 Caprices, 96 Caprices, them bubble Chevys. A couple of them might have had a Benz or a BMW, but the common D-boy ride was the 93 Bubble Caprice, 89, 86 Caprice Classic on blades. With 8 Ball and MJG. Or Do or Die or Psychodrama. That was the Midwest, you know what I'm saying? That was, if you was a who's who, if you was somebody that had a couple dollars and you was doing your thing in the city, that's where you shop. You shop right down there. And there might have been a couple other spots, but dudes wasn't breaking their neck to go to like Lake Street. Like the little place where they sold the hair and then they got the fits. Nah, man, if you was making some serious bread, you a real D-boy, you wasn't shopping on Lake Street. Not like that. Maybe a few places, but no, you was going downtown at that. Man, I wish there was somebody in this chat that could tell me what that place was. But it was Foot Locker was right here, and you walk across the street, you go inside where Fogo de Chao is, or one of them blocks, and that's where, so another story time that I'm gonna get into is when it comes to audio production. The audio production and that kind of helped me with in terms of audio and putting things together and how I was able to kind of hook up stereos for people and stuff like that. So for this story time, let me see. I'll save that little piece. I'll save that little piece. We gonna do the next one. I'm gonna edit this one, get it all up and everything. But I'm gonna do another story time, and this one's gonna be the South High story time. So it's basically going to break off into, you're going into 95, 96, 97. 97, I'm in ninth grade. So this is kind of going into, my South High time. I was still kind of doing the same thing. Summer programs. Maybe I might have been around by maybe 13, 14, 15, going into South High and going into around 97. Everything I talked about right now was kind of pre-97. But I'm still going to call it 1997. The South High one, I'm going to call it, South High. And then maybe parentheses, 97 to 2000 or whatever, talking about how I got into it. But this was around the time when I was just getting my scrapes together. I was just learning, how to use the operating system. Because like I say, we were the only people that I knew in the neighborhood that had a PC. Because, I think eventually, I don't know where I got this Macintosh LC2 because they still was expensive. I think my dad brought it home. I don't know where he got it because I know he didn't have no $1,500 to buy one. So ain't no telling. He used to deal with a lot of street people sometimes. So I think that maybe it was a situation where even when the Game Boy came out, he used to do like a lot of blue collar work. So he might have been doing some restoration and cleaning out somebody's house. They said that they left the Game Boy. They said they left the Game Boy. But that ain't nothing you gonna leave. It was a brand new Game Boy in the box. That's how we got the Game Boy. For free. That's how we got the Game Boy, man. So I'm just thinking about all these different kind of things that culminated moving into my pathway, everything that happened to me. And there's probably a lot of other stuff too. So, I'm gonna go ahead and end this story time and I'm gonna go right back right into the South High story time. So hopefully y'all enjoy it. Appreciate it.
Washington and Cedar with food stamps, 2 for $1. Minute makes arms, we knew that. Hand-me-down clothes, surplus shoes, the new champ, tight Wrangler jeans. 7 more bargain, guess who's back? In 6th grade, they told us that his dad pays taxes, but this privileged fucker don't know niggas paid for that. Working in the hot sun without pay, so slave that. Kuta Kinte on your monkey ass, engrave that. Reading books at the library. Eyes scary, surprised to learn our country is savage. My dairy mixing the Netflix so restless. Playing NES shit, done cut a Mario. We ain't have no Atari though. Young black kids brainwashed by Xena and Barbie though. Thought chivalry was alive until I met some sorry hoe. And then I realized society is cutthroat. The law ain't shit and they still don't give a fuck though. The food stamps, Minute Maid's orange, guess who's back? Paragon cable cut off, we knew that. Rain exceeds 7 mile, the food stamps. The food stamps, Minute Maid's orange, guess who's back? Paragon cable cut off, we knew that. Rain exceeds 7 mile, the food stamps. Playing ball at Matthews Park a couple years of sewer school. No TV and Friday and Saturday night, we knew the rules. Niggas getting popped for they bull starter jackets, looking out the window what pops old ride through all the traffic of Frosty and Wendy's. Was 99 cents, and pop over to Ponderosa was hella intense. He left a few days. Mama, how we paying the rent? Pounding this VCR combo. What he saying they shit. So we walked to Washington and Cedar. We knew that. No food in the refrigerator. No food stamps, peanut butter and Nestle Quick. We'll use that. Y'all some welfare babies. Amused at me, XJ 900 to Pro Wings. But you happy Section 8 housing in River Bluff.